Hello, creative wonders! And here is another story of another little painting I made recently. This one is dedicated to a meditation workshop I took recently, and I wanted to share why do I think that meditation is important for everybody and how I fell into it, really. So I used to live a very rambunctious lifestyle. I thought I was cool. I thought I was all smart fancy pants. I have a little bit of spirituality within me naturally already occurring, but I was shoving it down. And I used to use a lot of plant medicine and we used to drink a lot. So the lifestyle was just, at some point became ridiculous that I had to leave that place. So when I realized that I can't live that way anymore, I started escaping into my own mind, and with all the peers that were surrounding me and influences, I would still participate in the activities with those people. However, I was already detaching myself from there. So at night after work, I would come home and I would just lay down and I would be in suspended state of mind where I'm listening to the frequencies that I'm hearing inside my head. Sometimes I would just feel my heart pumping and I would hear my spine cracking, for example, as I'm breathing. I would hear something, just frequencies, which I still hear to this day. I can tune into it, and there's different pitches of it that you can tap into, which is really curious. And for the longest time, I didn't know what I'm hearing or if I'm imagining this, but I knew that I'm hearing something. So I was paying attention to what's happening inside my head, what's happening inside my body, the aches that I'm experiencing. And all of that was kind of really captivating for me. And therefore, it would help me fall asleep and kind of detach from the world. At the same time, I started experiencing really, really crazy dreams, which felt more like lifetimes. And I found myself in lucid dreams. I found myself in Atlantic times. I found myself in some military programs in my dreams. And I had repetitive dreams. I had time traveling dreams. And all of that was happening really all at the same time. And then when time came for me to leave that place, for me to leave my ex-husband, for me to leave that group of peers and move away from there, I moved in with my parents. And the next thing happened, COVID. When COVID happened, the whole world was locked down. All I had left to do is to stay with myself and reconnect. So I was working more on artworks, and I was meditating more. I took my first self-development program called Lifebook. It went through Mindvalley. I'm not affiliated with Mindvalley, but if you're curious, please check it out. They have a lot of really good stuff. And at some point, I broke my leg. And when I decided to not do surgery and not to get a metal rod in my shin, I was laying down for 6 months and meditating. And this is when I experienced deeper and deeper states of silence, suspension, alpha states, and I really enjoyed it. So that time was a blessing for me. I'm grateful that there was a couple years where we could just be silent and reconnect with what's happening inside of us. And I've met some people who experienced the same thing. Of course, there were some people who experienced terrible times during COVID, and I'm absolutely condoled that this is what they experience and the deaths and all that. But that's as part of transformation on planet Earth. And then I met this young man, Jim Haggerty. He invited me to yoga classes. And once I started attending yoga again, which I've experienced before, but I dived into it a little more. And they also, in Himalayan yoga tradition, they taught me to meditate rather properly. And this is when I learned that yoga postures are meant to help you relax your body, stretch your body, so you can sit in the meditation for a lot longer. I learned a lot more of yoga philosophy, and I also got certified in becoming yoga teacher. This is a great impact on my life, and I'm so grateful that I've went through this. And here, give me a moment. I'll put a little cut of an inconspicuous commercial break. So if you also want to get certified as therapeutic art practitioner, this is what you can do. You can go to primolearn.com, and they have few courses that very, very well put together. I took therapeutic art practice. There was 8 modules. They have PDFs. You read it online at your own pace. And you can also listen to the audio, which is what I did when I was driving, for example. What was also awesome, I got myself a binder and I just printed every module so I can highlight the material that is important to me. This is basically what it looked like. And then at the end of every module, there is a quiz to test your observations. And at the end of all the modules, there is an exam. When you pass the exam, you get a digital certificate, and you can also request to get a Golden Seal certificate. So this is what I just received in mail. I'm certified therapeutic art practitioner now. And this is, as long as you're studying, this is fairly easy. And let me show you what their website looks like. Okay, and this is how you find it. You go to primolearn.com, go to their website. You can create the account right away. You can poke around the courses that they have. And this is the first one I started with. Art therapy course. They have multiple others: Ayurveda, NLP, hypnotherapy. And I purchased few extra here, but I have yet studied it. Now, when you select the course, you can see the companies that have put it together and made it all legit. You can go over the perks of it, and you can see the certificate that you get to request to have. You do get digital one, and you can also have the Golden Seal certificate. Now, you will have to pass the exam once you're done with all the modules. You can study at your own pace. You can read it online. You can listen to it. And you can really boost up your knowledge in psychological aspects of creativity. And it's a really nice tool to have in your creative tool belt. So check it out. Use the link in the description of this video to get 10% off. I wish you luck. Stay creative. And welcome back. So to continue on meditation, little did I know that in the beginning I was meditating, because when I learned that meditation is silencing your mind and experiencing the single cognition and being able to still your body and open up to receive whatever messages universe has for you, this is what was revealed to me. Now, mind you that all my life I thought my intuition was absolutely wacky. I didn't think I was intuitive whatsoever. I read some books on the intuition, desiring for myself to be so intuitive and being able to intuitively read people, because every time I would, make a decision thinking I was intuitive, that would fire backwards, and it would be a lot of times it would be all sorts of mess. However, through meditation, I've also learned that I've discovered so many healing processes within my body, because I am learning to attentively listen to what my body speaks to me. And sometimes, yes, I still am working on identifying what is intuitive, what is from thought, what is from influence of other people. It also helped me to identify all those different voices in my head. For example, when I'm having internal dialogue and I'm having conversation with my boyfriend, right? and I hear his voice in my head, and I start having like, whether it's a discussion, whether it's argument, or whether it's anything, and I'm realizing that this is his voice in my head, I know that I'm not thinking for myself. When I have conversation in my head with my parents, when I have conversations with my coworkers, I'm realizing that I'm hearing voices of other people inside of myself, and this is what influences my current state of being. So I started looking for my own voice. I started to try to hear what my own voice sounds like inside of my head without me actually pronouncing it out loud. Because when you close your eyes and you just sit quietly and in your mind you pronounce something out loud, try it. Just try to say something. Try to say, I am divine. Listen to what voice you're speaking it into, not saying it out loud. Because that is the voice, that's your true essence. I came to it naturally, kind of intuitively feeling that this is what it's supposed to be. And then I started receiving the feedback from the external environment, proving to me that that discovery is true for me. And I'm sure we all have different discoveries on how we perceive intuition and how we experience meditation. And it's not always perfect. I still have a really busy mind. And now I'm just more cognizant and more aware of my busyness inside of my head. But I'm also learning to open up my heart a little more and create coherence between my brain and between my heart. That way, I am capable of finding equanimity and a little bit more of a stillness. Now, sometimes I sit down to meditate and it's still really busy. And sometimes I sit down to meditate and I find myself like remote viewing something. And I'm sure some of you are familiar with the concept of remote viewing, but we will discuss that sometime later. And another interesting concept I heard of thinking on a meditation, when you first time try to sit down to meditate and you think, okay, I'm gonna silence my mind, and you find yourself thinking all sorts of thoughts, you finding yourself really busy and you having all those things to do suddenly. You can't just sit down for 5 minutes and allow yourself to do nothing because there's so much stuff going on. Now, the meditation is the ability to, first of all, still your body. Second of all your thoughts, consider them being like bubbles. I don't remember where I heard that concept, but basically it's like in a soda. Imagine you are a glass of water, a glass of soda, and little bubbles keep coming up to the surface. Now what you will discover later, when the soda goes flat, it's just water, it barely has any bubbles. This is the state of being you are wanting to do your best to achieve. And the bubble is still going to be coming up. Now, the point is not to get attached to any of those bubbles. Sometimes I think of meditation like walking through a gallery and seeing all the exhibits, all the artworks and all the paintings, whatever that is, statues, walking by them and not stepping in front of any other painting, to study it, but just walking by it, acknowledging that it's there, but keep moving forward. It's like walking through Hermitage. And Hermitage is it's the biggest gallery in the world. They say that it's so humongous that even if you stand in front of every exhibit for 1 second, you will not have enough of a lifetime to walk through the entire Hermitage. That's how big that is. If you're ever curious, it's in Russia, in St. Petersburg. Check it out. Now, to finalize my point, meditation is crucial to you knowing yourself. Maybe you're not going to be able to silence your mind completely, but you will know yourself better. You will be able to reflect on who you are and what your thinking process is and who is speaking in your mind. And due to that, it brings you more self-awareness. And this is what I find is the most important part of us being humans, being self-aware, to reduce influences of the external world and become able to influence the world from within to without. And this is something we all get to play, mastering, and creativity stems from that as well. This is the final piece, and this is how it looks. I actually have already framed it, and I will post it on my website. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Tell me if you also know how to meditate and you enjoy the process, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.